And we are ready to go, Your Worship. Just 1 second here. And okay.
Great. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting of council to order at 4:03. I'll begin with our territorial acknowledgement. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather in the traditional unceded is the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Our agenda has been circulated. Has anyone anything they feel they need to add to the agenda? Then I'll seek a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
So moved.
All right, Councillor Byrne, and seconded by Deputy Mayor. Any objections? Thank you very much. Minutes have been circulated. The first is regular council February 24th. Anyone note any errors or omissions in those minutes? If not, I'll seek a motion to approve those minutes.
We'll approve it. Mackenzie. Terry.
Councillor McKenzie approves. Councillor Reinders seconds. Any objections? Thank you very much. March 31st, meeting of special council. Any errors or omissions? I'll seek a motion to approve.
Councillor Jones. Second.
Jones, seconded by Councillor Reinders.
Yep.
Thank you. And the third is April 20th, our recent special council meeting. Any errors or omissions? If not, motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Councillor Byrne,
I'll second it. Mackenzie.
Councillor McKenzie seconding, no objections. Thank you very much. So we'll move on to request for decision. The first item, water utility budget, and I'll ask Deputy Mayor Christie to provide us the details.
Okay, so before I go, will the synopsis be available for the public to read, or you want me to go through that?
It should be there now, Deputy Mayor.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, the synopsis is on the board, so I just want to make sure that the people at home can see that if they wish, so I won't go through all of the figures. But the motion is that council approve the 2020-2021 Amherst Water Utility operating budget of $2,242,216 as presented.
Thank you. Seconder?
Mackenzie will second.
Yeah, Councillor McKenzie, thank you. Are there any questions or further discussion on this motion? If not, then I will put it to a vote. I will ask for nay votes, please. Hearing none, unanimously approved. Thank you very much. The next item, Victoria Park lease agreement. And I'll call upon Councillor Reinders, please.
Yes, Your Worship, members of council, synopsis up on the board for the public at home. Victoria Park lease. The park area in the intersection of Church and Victoria Street has recently been maintained by the town, although the town has not owned it. In 1995 or 1999, a year lease was signed with the province of Nova Scotia, which allowed the town to use the land as a park or more specified, to care for and maintain Victoria Park in such a condition that it will be an ornament or place beauty within the town. A number of years ago, a major development was undertaken in the area of the part downtown center first project. In 2016, the province transferred the title of the property to the county of Cumberland. When the transfer of the ownership took place, the lease was transferred as well. Up until 2017, this property was also part of the property that housed the courthouse and the jail. In 2017, the county subdivided the property into 3 parcels: Victoria Park, courthouse, and the former jail. In 2019, the province received permission from the Heritage Advisory Committee to adopt a ramp at the Victoria Park side of the courthouse, in which a municipality registered heritage property. This new ramp is on a portion of the property that leases to the town. The province wants to enter to an amendment lease agreement for the lands of Victoria Park that will entitle for a new accessible ramp. Our solicitor has reviewed the proposal amendment lease and advised that the town should excuse it. Motion that council approve entering into amendment lease agreement between the town and the municipality of the Cumberland County and the province of Nova Scotia. I so move.
Thank you. And then just for clarity, that the town should execute it.
Execute, right.
Thank you, Councillor Reinders. Seconder for the motion, please.
Sheila.
Deputy Mayor Christie, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Are there any questions or discussion on this motion?
No.
If not, then I will seek nay votes. Hearing none, motion is approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Our next item is general borrowing resolution, and I'll ask Councillor Burton to address this one, please.
That was me, your worship.
Yes.
Yes, okay. The synopsis is on the screen for those at home. I will give it a read, since it's a little change from what we previously passed. Each year, usually in conjunction with approving the budget, council approves a general borrowing resolution to authorize the borrowing up to a specific amount from the Royal Bank to meet day-to-day expenditures of the town until such time as the taxes are levied and collected. The amount of the authorization has been $2 million for a number of years. This credit facility is almost never used, and when it is used, it is only used briefly. This year, staff have recommended an increase in the general borrowing amount due to the current state of emergency in Nova Scotia as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Section 84 of the Municipal Government Act authorizes the town to borrow up to 50% of the combined total of the taxes levied by the municipality for the previous fiscal year. This would amount to $7.7 million for this fiscal year. This general borrowing resolution ensures the provision of municipal services by the town are able to be financed until taxes are collected. It is anticipated there will be some tax collection challenges this year due to the current state of emergency in Nova Scotia, and having this line of credit increase will allow the town to utilize it if required during the pandemic. Approval of this resolution does not require the town to borrow this amount, but it does authorize the borrowing up to that amount. The interest rate on such borrowing is the Royal Bank Prime minus 1/4%. The Royal Bank has approved the application for borrowing, and the offer is open until May 7th, 2020. The motion before council is that council approve a general borrowing resolution in authorizing a line of credit in the amount of $7.7 million with the Royal Bank of Canada to meet the current expenditures of the town of Amherst for the year ending March 31st, 2021. So moved.
Thank you. Would someone second that motion?
Councillor Jones, second it.
Councillor Jones, thank you very much. Are there any questions or further discussion?
I just have a statement, your worship.
Deputy Mayor Christie, please go ahead.
I just wanted to say it's important to note that that's available if we need it. It's not necessary. And I think that's an important distinction, and that enables us to continue operations on a normal basis, but it's just there as a security.
Absolutely, you're very correct. We are hoping that we can do well enough with tax collection that we won't need to borrow against that. Any other questions or further discussion? Mr. Harrod?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just realizing that I don't have a little hand to put up. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to emphasize and reiterate the Deputy Mayor's comment. It is a line of credit. We only would pay interest on the amount that's used daily. And I would further say that, you know, we have $3 million in an operating reserve that we can borrow from as well if need be. And so this is simply contingency planning. It is reasonable to expect that we will have some challenges collecting accounts receivable beyond what we normally have, and this will allow us the cushion to do that. The amount is simply based on the maximum allowable amount under the act, and we hope not to have to use that. We have made an application to the bank, and we've supported that with cash flow statements or estimates and that sort of thing. But again, this is just a line of credit, and it is only in place should we need it and to the extent that we need it. And if we borrow one day and we deposit the next, we don't pay interest on the next. So I think Ms. Rector there could advise council on, what the approximate cost and that sort of thing is, but I just wanted to reemphasize that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we're pretty clear that we hope to not have to take advantage of it, but it's nice to have it there in case it's absolutely needed. All right, anything more? Then I will put it to the vote. Any nay votes? Hearing none, unanimously approved. Thank you very much. That takes us down now to internal committee reports. And the first committee report we have a report from will be the Planning Advisory Committee, and I'll call upon Councillor Reinders, please.
Worship, members of council, Planning Advisory Committee, April the 20th, April 2/20. The Planning Advisory Committee met on Monday, March 2nd, 2/20. A report administrator was provided with recommendations that the building at 1 Park Street to be demolished. This property has not been properly maintained for many years. Its negative impact the value of adjustment properties in attracting rodents and shows single signs of weather predation, including mold within the building. A meeting of the committee will be scheduled soon to make a decision on the recommendation. Also on the agent will be the election of a new chair and vice chair for the committee. That's my report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Councillor Reinders? Please use the raise the hand button. Deputy Mayor Christie?
The question isn't necessarily for Councillor Reinders. I was just wondering if the clerk had any idea of when that meeting might be scheduled now that meetings are available.
We're going to be trying to get back on a regularly scheduled meeting. So we're hoping that maybe next week we may be able to have a PAC meeting,
Okay,
which would be
thank
the
you.
regular Monday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Your hand is still up if you'd like to
Yeah.
remove it.
I'm trying to.
Or do you have something else? Well, I just want to make sure, or if you had anything else you wanted to say.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There, it disappeared. Very good. Anyone else?
No.
No?
I do,
All
Your
right.
Worship. I have a comment, Your
Oh.
Worship.
All right, Mr. Harrod, go ahead.
Thank you. Just one last piece of information with respect to that unsightly premises matter is one last detail, although it's a big one, is an analysis at the staff level of the cost of that demolition. Obviously, we are carrying the cost of several significant demolitions at the present time, and so we will do an analysis of the cost and provide a recommendation based on that, given that we're trying to manage our finances fairly tightly here in these next few months, not with a little bit of uncertainty. So that's the other piece of that decision making. Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you very much.
Worship, the worship.
Yes, go ahead, Councillor
Yeah,
Reinders.
just asking, Greg. Wait, if we get close to tear it down, is there a way we could have a piece of paper signed that he must pay?
There will be a requirement to, if the decision gets made to demolish, and if appeals are exhausted and the order is issued, then the requirement to pay will be there. And I guess it's fair to say, given the ground that we're covering with the demolitions of the Wells properties, that if the cost of demolishing the property can't be fully recovered after reasonable attempts from the property owner, that we would take legal action to do it. So the requirement is there to pay, whether the person, the owner agrees to it or not, Counselor. So having them sign a document really doesn't enhance the strength of it.
Okay, does anyone else have any comments or questions or concerns? All right, then we will move on now to external committee reports. And the first report that we have is Cumberland Public Libraries. Councillor McKenzie, please.
Great, thank you. Cumberland Public Libraries, April 2020. On March 16th, the Cumberland Public Libraries closed all its locations to the public to help reduce the spread of the COVID-19. Since that time, we have been increasing our digital resources so people would still have access to books, magazines, movies, and TV shows. Links to these resources are on our website, www.cumberlandpubliclibraries.ca. However, not everyone can access these digital resources for a variety of reasons. We now have procedures in place to begin offering our boring by mail service to all citizens of Cumberland County who have a library card. Information on how to obtain a card can be found below. The library has offered this service in the past to those who met certain criteria, but during these unpredictable times, it is the one way to serve everyone in a safe manner. The library has also reached out to the public health to make sure that this service is safe and will no further transmit the virus. Additionally, library staff will be taking precautions with library materials to ensure their safety and the safety of the patrons. As we will be only using the collection from one location, the Forefathers Library in Amherst, patrons will also have access to the limited materials, but that will include books, magazines, movies, and television shows on DVDs and jigsaw puzzles. To place an order for materials, patrons will need to call 902-667-2135 or email information@cumberlandpubliclibraries.ca. The online catalog is available to view at www.cumberlandpubliclibraries.ca, but holds cannot be placed through it at this time. Getting a library card is free and easy. There is a form on the library website, or call the library and provide your information. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions on this report? If not, we'll move along. The next report that we have is senior safety. Councillor Jones, if you would.
Thank you, Your Worship, members of council, general public. Senior safety, April 2020. Since my last report, the Cumberland Senior Safety Society hasn't met due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As a board member, I was asked to participate in the conference call along with our safety coordinator. The conference calls were held on Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting March the 23rd until April the 9th, 2020, from 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning. On April the 16th, the calls were moved to once a week on Thursdays until further notice. I must say that the host for these conference calls were Jacqueline Campbell. She's with the Nova Scotia Department of Seniors Programs, and she schedules these meetings. Some summary of concerns were Meals on Wheels. Concerns over the operation of our seniors apartment buildings. Common rooms have not been closed to tenants in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Issue with the cost of prescription, especially for people on lower income, ambulance fees, and frauds and scams. So these calls were with over 54 different senior safety organizations and community links. So these concerns are wide across the province. If you know of any seniors in our area who who could use assistance, please get in touch with Trish Coleman at 902-664-4540 or at the Cummins Senior Safety at gmail.com. One other thing is right now they have a need for, if anybody donate dog food, cat food, and litter. A lot of the seniors right now are having a hard time to purchase it. That is a report on the Senior Safety Society. Any questions? Hello?
Thank you, Counselor Jones. Any questions for Counselor Jones?
Counselor Jones, I was just wondering, the common room being still open, has that been changed or do you know?
They had to have discussions with the public housing. The concerns were the 5-person limit. There were more than 5 people in the common rooms. They were having activities, playing cards and et cetera, et cetera. It just wasn't being enforced. So,
Okay.
when
So
they know-
you don't know if it's been changed or not at this point?
to my knowledge, no, it hasn't been changed as of yet.
Okay.
Anything more? All right, then. Thank you very much for your report. We'll go on now to the Cumberland Region Tourism Advisory Committee report, and that's again, Counselor Jones, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Cumberland Region Tours Advisory Committee, April 2020 report. The Cumberland Region Tours Advisory Committee held its first meeting on Monday, April the 9th, 2020 versus Zoom. The terms of reference were circulated and reviewed prior to the meeting. Daniel Serrato volunteered for the vice chair position, and I was the only person nominated for the chair's position. Stephanie Moore gave a brief overview of the 2019-2022 Cumberland Region Tours Development Strategy. Questions were raised following the presentation in relation to the COVID-19, such as how can we support our local small business now while putting the public and community health first. Some of the ideas brought forward included an inventory of businesses that are open, particularly in food and beverage establishment, a link to extensive servers open in Cumberland or on global map that could be shared and would be able to be easily updated by the user. Contact Farmers Market Nova Scotia on how they are safely promoting food producers in the area, and contacting the Cumberland Business Connector and see how they might be able to support the ideas presented. Some of the actions in this items were some of the actions items we can move forward with, including creating smaller working groups for the trails, festivals and events, and holding different workshops to Tourist Nova Scotia versus Zoom or other platforms for the different communities. The next meeting will be scheduled for early May. It's a report for the tourism. Any questions?
Questions for Counselor Jones? I don't see any hands. All right, then. Thank you very much for your report. And the next, and I believe last report we're to hear is Advisory Committee to Reduce Poverty. And that would be Deputy Mayor Christie, please.
So the Advisory Committee to Reduce Poverty, April 2020. A meeting was held on February the 25th, 2020. The committee heard an update from the West Highlands Day event that took place on February the 5th, 2020. Approximately 40 people had been signed up while only 24 attended the event. It included questions and conversations between the individuals about their dreams, long-term goals, and critical thinking mostly for the Highlands area. The committee continued working on their mapping exercises, with this meeting focusing on current committees and boards that exist within our community and how to have them talk better with each other. These items have been included to the master spreadsheet, which again is a long-term goal and ongoing working document. The community well-being manager attended the Asking Our Communities, a Journey to Understanding Participation and Involvement webinar through Tamarack, sorry. As there is not currently anything regarding attendance in the terms of reference, Shelley brought forward the potential impact going forward with decisions and not having quorum. Language around attendance for the committee will be drafted and added to the terms of reference when it's now going to be brought to council again.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for Deputy Mayor Christie? No questions? All right then. I guess that brings us to the end of our current agenda. If no one has anything else, I'll seek a motion for adjournment.
Councilor Jones, so move.
Second.
And seconded by Councilor Reinders?
Yep.
That you? All righty. No objections? Then our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. These Zoom meetings are not doing too badly. Thank you all for your attendance and your patience. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a good day.
You
You
guys-
too,